Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. We begin a new week of learning. We hope everyone had a great Shabbos. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Ganei Yisrael, Yisrael, the safety of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael during this difficult time. We learn each day Nishmat Seren Daniel Shimon Ben Arav Duron V'Shal Shem Kam Demo. So we conclude the chapter on Tachanun to start our week, and then the next thing is Kriyas HaTorah, which should be interesting and quite apropos as well, especially with the number of laning days we have coming up. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is upon us, followed by, of course, Pesach, and so many different things to celebrate. But let's finish this chapter first. Chassan Bali Bris Bali Simcha Achir. Ein Omrim Tachanun b'minyan Shabali Simcha Shel Mitzvah Mispal Lambo. So we do not recite Tachanun if in the minyan in which you are davening, then there are Simcha participants. So let's see. So if there is a groom who just got married, he's in the first week of marriage, so it's called the Shivas Yemei Mishnah, and he's davening in that minyan, then you wouldn't say Tachanun. Everybody loves to recruit the chas into daven in their minyan. However, if it's the shachris or the mincha the day before his chasna, before the wedding, you would still say Tachanun. However, if let's say you're davening mincha at the wedding or close to the wedding, right before the wedding, then certainly you wouldn't say Tachanun. In the note here, he says that some hold that the entire day of the chasna you don't say Tachanun, but most people do. Also, if there's a bris taking place and some of the Balei HaBris are there, who are the Balei HaBris? Heim Avia Chasan. I'm sorry, that's a mistake. It's not Avia Chasan because it's a bris. It's Monday. What are you going to do? It's Aviha Ben. Okay, the father of the child that's going to be circumcised. Hamayel, of course, the person doing the circumcision, and the Sandik, who has the ritual of holding the baby during the bris. And the Petur, this exemption goes from the morning until the meal. So let's say they have the bris in the morning, but then if those Balei HaBris are present at the minyan, you wouldn't say Tachanun. And if let's say the bris takes place, some people do it in the afternoon after mincha, if the Balei HaBris are at shachris and mincha, both, you wouldn't recite Tachanun. So it's not just only the minyan where the Balei HaBris are, but let's say if it's in the shul, if the bris is going to take place in the shul, then that's, in other words, if there's a bris taking place in shul and they are in that minyan, you wouldn't say Tachanun. The previous cases, let's say the bris isn't taking place somewhere else, but there we go with the chasam again. But the father of the baby's there, or the mile of the sandak, then you wouldn't say Tachanun. Well, let's say you have a number of minyanim that take place in one shul. So let's say you have an early minyan, a late minyan, something like that. So only in the minyan in which the bris is going to take place, they are exempt from Tachanun. But if you say, in the 10 o'clock minyan, there's a minyan in a different room, they're going to have a bris, that doesn't exempt the 6:45 minyan. However, if there's one kehila, and if it's one congregation, and they normally have all these minyanim, then the Rav paskins that in all of the minyanim, they wouldn't say Tachanun. He says here in the note, Gam im habris te'erach b'mincha, even if the bris is going to take place in the afternoon, then you wouldn't say Tachanun shachris in the shul. V'gam k'sheish kama minyane shachris enom rekulim Tachanun. If there are several minyanim of shachris, we don't say Tachanun in all of them. It goes on and on. But again, this is not widespread. A lot of different people, depending on your shul, what the custom would be. Bar mitzvah. Rabim noagu shelo lomar Tachanun. Many have the custom not to say Tachanun in the minyan where you have what's called a bo bayom. That day the boy becomes bar mitzvah and he's davening there, and some have the custom that they would say Tachanun. Pidyon haben, Rabim nogan shelo lomar Tachanun minyan shemispalabo avia ben v'yesh nogan lomar. Many have the custom of not saying Tachanun if there's a pidyon haben that's taking place and the father is there. Many have the custom to say it. But Tefillah Shnerchas Sabach Mesibas Siyam Meseches Achnasa Sefer Torah Rabim Nogan Shelo Lomar Tachanun V'yesh Nogan Lomar. Again, we have a difference of opinion whether or not you would say Tachanun if, let's say, there's a Siyam on a Gemara taking place, or if there's going to be a Achnasa Sefer Torah. And again, we have the different opinions on that as well. And we've already learned that since Tachanun was not instituted as part of the mandatory sections of Tefillah and it was only a Rishus, so therefore if one has a doubt, one can certainly be Mekil, one can be lenient and not skip Tachanun. Here we go. I discussed this a number of days ago. I had a friend in Yeshiva that had a calendar of all the yard sites. So let's say you have a yard site, they call it Hilula, of Gedolim or Tzadikim. Most of the absolute decision of the poskim is that we do say Tachanun, and this is the custom. Poskim HaChasidim silver, but however many Chasidish poskim hold, she'osim ha'holchem bedarcho shel tzadik mitzvim. Let's say students or Chasidim of a certain Rebbe or of a certain tzaddik, va'oskim b'tarasa b'chol hashana, and they follow his Torah all year round. Uv'yom hilula shelo orchem l'chvod suda, and on the day of the yard site they make a big to-do and a big suda. Ba'osiyom lo yom Tachanun. On that day they shouldn't say Tachanun. Aval b'shar yemei hilula shel tzadikim acherim tzrichim lomer Tachanun. However, on the other yard sites or hilula days of the other tzadikim, you certainly would say Tachanun. The last note here. He says, "Rabbi mahaposkim hisramu al minig hachasidim shelo lomer Tachanun me'ptir shel gdolei Yisrael." Many kind of go to town on this Hasidish minig to skip Tachanun on these days of yard sites. He says, he quotes from Moshe, Rav Feinstein, and others. And if you're davening in a minyan like this and they're skipping Tachanun because it's someone's yard site, you're required to say Tachanun. You shouldn't worry that, you're being haughty or that you're separating from the community, and others as well. So people have strong feelings about this minhag. Again, a normative Ashkenazi minyan, we say Tachanun on all the yard sites. We don't have this custom. It's a Hasidish minhag and certainly not our practice. But to each his own. And I think if we learn nothing else, but we should maybe perhaps spend a few minutes looking into the meaning and the symbolic nature of Tachanun, and we would be not so quick to skip it, especially as we approach Rosh Chodesh Nisan, a time when we're going to be skipping Tachanun for the entire month. But again, that's al pi halacha, and for rightful reason. But if we know why we say it, and we would know why we wouldn't say it, maybe it would adjust our attitude just a little bit. So thank you for joining us for a new week of learning. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Yisrael, safety of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. Nishmat and Daniel Shimon Rav Dernon V'Shol Yishem Kudamo. Again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you here next time.